Oh boy. I'd like to call the regular City Council meeting on March 3rd, 2025, 6 o'clock p.m. Madam Secretary, we have a quorum.
Yes, Mayor, we do.
Next, please.
Item 2, invocation given by Stephen Downs, Assistant City Manager, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the American and Texas flags.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be together as a community tonight to be able to talk about important things that impact our lives, the lives of our children, the lives of our neighbors. We're grateful to be in this community, a community that loves each other and cares for each other. Grateful for the friendships that have come from the opportunity to be a part of this place. Please continue to pour your blessings upon it. Continue to watch over this community, keep us safe, keep us working together to improve the lives of our neighbors and those in our path. Please, tonight, as different people express their views and their opinions and their thoughts, help us to be open and hearing what it is that they're communicating, so that we can continue to use the guidance that we get from our community members to make this community a place that people will choose to live and do business in for many years to come. Please bless us all with safety as we return home. Pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Next, please.
Agenda item 3A, Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month Proclamation.
All right. Good evening, all. So, whereas Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month is being observed in March 2025 to focus attention on hemophilia and other hereditary bleeding disorders which impact the lives of some 3 million Americans. Whereas bleeding disorders are characterized by the body's inability to form proper blood clots, which occurs through defects in platelets, clotting proteins, and blood vessels, and those diseases are always inherited in these rare cases. They may develop later in life when the body develops an autoimmune response to the natural blood clotting factors, and whereas when the normal clotting process diminishes, patients may experience problems with bleeding excessively from relatively minor injuries, other some that easily bruise, unexplained nosebleeds, anemia, and then if treated effectively, bleeding disorders can be fatal. Whereas Hemophilia Awareness Month was first designated February in March 1986, 3 decades later, in March 2016, the Department of Health and Human Services expanded the observance to include other bleeding disorders. And the City of Fayette recognized efforts of local and national organizations, healthcare providers, and individuals who work tirelessly to raise awareness, provide support, and improve the lives of those affected by bleeding disorders. Now, therefore, I, David Billings, the Mayor of Fayette, on behalf of the City Council, hereby proclaim March 2025 as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month in the City of Fayette, Texas, and encourage all citizens to learn more about bleeding disorders. Thank you.
Next is agenda item 3B, presentation of employee service awards. First will be Steve Gilbert.
Well, it's a pleasure to be able to do this. I'll share a few words, and then if Steve wants to take a few minutes to talk about how much he's loved working for me, he's welcome to do that too. But we we've been lucky to have Steve on the team for 10 years. 2015, Fayette looked much different than it does today, and Steve, a little closer. Steve has been able to kind of see us through all of it. And as many of you know, one of Steve's main responsibilities is building inspection and building safety. And so everything that's been constructed post-2015, Steve's had his name on it and his team, and obviously that's a lot. Everything from single family to commercial and all the commercial that's coming, it's been a real pleasure. Steve and his team also do permitting, they also do code enforcement, and most recently they've taken on passports. He's also been the project manager on some of our large capital projects, this building and our soon-to-be constructed police headquarters. And so as it wouldn't be a stretch to say that it would be a very challenging job to not have somebody like Steve Gilbert at the helm, taking all these responsibilities on and always being willing to take on more. And so it's a great honor to work with Steve. He's a great addition to the team. He's great for his department, but he's great for this whole organization. And so just wanted to congratulate Steve for 10 years of wonderful service to the City of Fate, and award him with this pin and certificate. You want to come down? We'll do a picture. Yep. How do you want to do it? You want to do a picture with them?
Do you want to? Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's have y'all squeeze in. All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
Straight from the heart, was it, Stephen? That's straight from the heart.
Okay, and next we will do the Employee Service Award for Clint Willoughby.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm kind of a last-minute fill-in for this, but tonight we're going to be recognizing Clint Willoughby for his 5 years of service with the Department of Public Safety here in Fate. For the past 4 years, Clint's served in our Criminal Investigations Division as one of our detectives, and he's been doing a wonderful job at that. And he's really a great person to be around. He brings always a smile to the room when he's with us, and we're just going to congratulate him on his 5 years of service with us, and look forward to many more.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you. Mayor,
All right, next, please.
Mayor, would it be possible for us to go back to Agenda Item 3A? Miss Lou Wyman Collins that requested the Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month proclamation has just arrived.
Yes.
Could we just do the photo with her,
Absolutely.
with you guys?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Now to Stormwater.
Okay. Agenda Item 3C, Stormwater Management Program Presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to introduce William Rodriguez. William is a compliance technician working for the city, also does compliance inspections related to all the municipal stormwater. This evening, he's going to be doing the presentation for a part of our MS4 permit application is doing some public awareness. So he's going to go through the presentation, and then we'd be glad to answer any questions that we can once he finishes. So, William.
Welcome.
So, stormwater management, treated runoff. Stormwater runoff is generated from rain and in previous previous surfaces, such as paved streets, parking lots, and rooftop as well. And it can pick up harmful pollutants into like trash, chemicals, sediment into streams, lakes, and groundwater. If runoff is not properly managed, it can lead to flooding, erosion, and contamination of water sources. Effective stormwater management helps to reduce the risk of and protect the environment. To the side, maybe.
Okay. Action frozen here. Oh, are you? Go ahead, if you can make it like. There we go. Now it should just down there.
So EPA and TCEQ requires urbanized cities to obtain permits and implement programs as well. The goal is to reduce pollutants in stormwater facilities. The program is mandate and unfunded. The city every 5 years have to must obtain permits and submit their own their stormwater management program. Every year, the city must provide reports to CCEQ. The city also must provide documentation and implementations. These are the steps that we take for the best management practices. It's implementing green infrastructure, rain gardens, permeable pavements, properly maintained storm drains and retention ponds. Also reducing pollutants from industrial and construction sites, as well as educating the public on responsible waste disposal. These are the steps the city takes and the actions as well. We develop and enforce stormwater regulations. We conduct inspections and maintenance of stormwater infrastructures. Encourage community involvement in education, and also monitor water quality and address pollution sources. So public education and outreach. Our annual water quality report is available on the city website. It's also sent by email to customers and posted on public areas. Illegal dumping brochures, they're posted on the utility side. Local cleanup and bulk trash cleanup events are in April. The stormwater information is available on the city website. The city also has added a new app called ClickFix. It's a platform that allows citizens to report concerns and provide feedback. What is an illicit discharge? An illicit discharge is any discharge to a municipal stormwater system, storm drains, pipes, ditches, that is not composed entirely of stormwater. These are a few examples of illicit discharge: improper waste, oil disposal, out of fluid flushing, septic tank seepage, pesticides and fertilizer, improper disposal of commercial and industrial hazardous waste, and cooking grease and household waste. So these are the requirements to our general construction permit. Stabilized construction entrances, which consist on a temporary stabilized layer of aggregate that is located at any point where traffic enters or leaves a construction site and enter public roads or other paved areas. The famous erosion control blanket. It's a protective blanket of plastic, fiber, or a straw designed to protect soils from the impact of precipitation. Also helps vegetation establishment. Sill fence. A fabric mesh or mesh placed in the paths of runoff, which acts as filter to reduce and detain sediment from runoff waters. Rock check dams are a temporary erosion control device utilized to temporary and permanent ditches to reduce runoff velocity. I'm pretty sure you guys seen the inlet protection covers on the construction site. They're all over the place. Those are designed to intercept or filter sediments before it can be transferred from a site into the storm drain system and discharged into lakes, rivers, streams, or other water bodies. Post-construction stormwater management, new construction and redevelopment. What is post-construction? Is the final process of construction. This must be completed in order to hand the building, phase, property, or the property entirely over to the owner. It consists of a punch list. A punch list is a document that defines all contact specified items that need immediate attention before completion by the contractor. Final inspection and walkthrough. After the punch list has been completed, a final walkthrough of the stormwater with the contractor, site owner, and city officials. These are a list of examples of a punch list. All construction materials and debris should be removed. The storm drains, inlets clear of debris and properly sealed. Nature around the construction site needs to be well maintained. Ensure all the slopes have permanent vegetation. Pollution and prevention, housekeeping for municipal operations. Examples of BMPs for municipal operations. It's pond inspections, street maintenance, parks and open space maintenance, municipal building maintenance, solid waste management program, and citywide cleanups. How is Faith taking action? By training staff, by doing biannual facility inspections as well as pond inspections, implementing best management practices, and develop measurable construction goals. And these are the two events that we have for stormwater, which is the bulk drop-off trash, and a new event that we had added to the stormwater, which is the used tire drop-off. Industrial stormwater sources. The city contacts city services for industrial stormwater sources to follow EPA regulations. The first one will be Waste Connection, which is, they collect all of our trash. Green Planet, they take care of any hazardous waste collection. Hot Wash LLC, they take care of any oil spills, major oil spills that we might need help on. Sweeper King, they just keep the roads clean. And the very bottom one, SPMC Service LLC, is our general contract for major projects. Municipal construction activities. The city is currently working on pump station number 3. We also replaced a major culvert on Blackland Road, as well as Gettysburg Extension, which that's on the process right now. North Bend Payne, and we have done some major pipe replacements on Bayland and Universal. And that is it. Thank you.
All right.
If I could just add real quickly, the tire event is a brand new event this year. Omar reached out, received a grant from the City of Faith. So that's being funded through that program. First time we've ever done it. Typically we just collect old tires, and then it's just an expense to get rid of those tires, find them in the ETJ. First time that event starts, it's the week of March the 10th. Then we have our annual cleanup event, so got some good things going on. And William's really done a fantastic job at keeping the sites, construction sites active. So it's part of every pre-construction meeting that we have, is letting them know, hey, we're gonna be looking out, making sure we're looking out for the city's best interest. So any other questions we can answer?
Any more questions, Council? Seeing none, thank you so much, and thank you, William, for what you do for us. All right, next, please.
Agenda item 3D, presentation of the annual comprehensive financial report, also known as the ACFR, for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2024.
We're so good. Welcome.
Mayor, Council, FY24 audit is complete. Yes. Yeah, and in the packet you will see the financial audit report and also single audit report and the required communication from the auditors to the City Council. Once approved, we will publish the audit report in the city's website, and also distribute to the different agencies such as, financial advisor, rating agency, comptroller's office. So we have a small audit presentation from Forvis. Josh Finley, he's the director from the audit firm, so take it away.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me. Like Raju said, my name's Josh Finley. I'm the Director, Lead Engagement Executive over the audit for fiscal year 24. I have just 2 slides here on our firm name. I know 2 years ago we were BKD, last year we were Forvis, now we're Forvis Mazars. They keep changing the name up on us. It's still the same firm out of Dallas, still me, still our same team. We just have a new name, and we're now blue, not red. So this is just kind of FYI for you guys. When you see Forvis Mazars out in the market, you know that is your auditor. We're no longer just Forvis. Okay, here's a quick agenda. Like Raju said, it's a short presentation for you all. I'll first hit on the audit scope, the results, the stuff that you guys want to hear, a few achievements. Can't be an audit or accounting presentation if I don't give you guys some future accounting pronouncements that are coming down the pipeline. GASB's very active, and so I'll hit on those super fast for you guys, and then a few financial overviews that I think is important. If I was in y'all's shoes, these are the things that I would want to know when I was seeing the presentation. And then questions, but if you guys have questions, just feel free to stop me and interrupt me anytime. So we'll jump right into the audit scope, or the audit results. So you guys are gonna receive 3 opinions. The first is the financial statement opinion. That's the main opinion that goes in the actual financials. You all are gonna receive an unmodified opinion. That is the highest level of assurance that we can give, any audit firm can give, is an unmodified opinion. That's a clean opinion in layman terms. Any city, any governmental agency that's undergoing an audit wants to receive an unmodified opinion, so that's the best that you guys can get. The next 2 are going to relate to what we call a single audit. A single audit is a separate audit that's separate from the financials, that anytime you guys expend over $750,000 of federal funding, you are required to undergo what we call a single audit, which is a separate audit just over those grant monies. For you guys, you spent about $2.5 million in ARPA funds. You spent the remainder of your ARPA funds. And so you guys were required to have a single audit. So those are two separate opinions: a report on internal control over financial reporting. Think about how you guys are accounting for those monies, right? Are you booking the revenue right? Are you booking the expenses right? No findings there. You're going to receive an unmodified opinion on that. And then second is the report on the compliance of those grant monies. So are you guys actually spending the money in accordance with the granting agency? And spending it on eligible expenditures, and you guys are also going to receive an unmodified opinion, no reportable findings for the single audit. Okay, so 3 opinions and 3 clean opinions. Okay, and then just to hit on that again, there was no audit adjustments that we found. We do propose some adjustments that are outsourced to us that we help you all do as it relates to pension and your OPEB liabilities, which I'll talk about here in the next few slides. And then there was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control that we found, okay? So overall, a clean audit. These next 2 or 3 slides are just gonna be some of our required communications that, as your auditor, I'm required to present to those charged with governance, which is you all. Number 1 is your significant accounting policies. Those are outlined in Note 1 of the ACFR that's presented or in front of you guys. I highly recommend you read those. Every city, every government, any entity under audit has to adopt their own accounting policies. We do read those and make sure they're up to standards and up to par. Noted nothing that departed from GAAP, but I do highly recommend you guys familiarize yourself with those. There was no unusual accounting policies that we noted, and also no alternative accounting treatments. If there was, this is where I would have to report those, but that is good that you guys have none. This next slide is really going to be on estimates, accounting estimates and judgments. Every set of financials has numbers that aren't concrete. Some accounting numbers take estimates or judgments from management. And so as your auditor, I'm just required to highlight those. The first is your accounts receivable and related allowance. Not every AR account is fully collectible. I think we all know that. So management estimates an uncollectible amount that goes against that AR. That is an estimate, right? So that is something I wanted to point out. The other 2, or really there's 3 more. The next 2 are going to be your pension and your OPEB liabilities. Those come straight from TMRS and straight from the actuary who's hired by the state. So those are big estimate numbers that are incorporated in the financials. And then depreciation, picking the useful lives. That's a hot topic for Michael, I know. Picking the useful lives on assets and depreciating those is an estimate as well. And then everything I mentioned is outlined in the notes of the financials, okay? And again, just hitting home on this, our judgment about your accounting policies, again, no matters to report on, okay? And then an achievement for you guys, the City of Fate, you did receive your GFOA Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting last year. That's actually in the first few pages of this report here. You guys have received that 11 years in a row, which is a great accomplishment. Raju and his team, and we as well believe that you guys will receive it again once he submits this. It's due March 30th to GFOA, so that's the big deadline all cities are trying to hit. And so he'll get this submitted within the next coming weeks, and we believe you all will receive it for a 12th straight year. So that's a nice feat for finance. Any questions so far on the first half?
Yeah, I have about four, so
What was that?
I have about four of them. You want to do them now or in the presentation?
You can hit me now.
All right.
Yeah.
So one, this is an independent audit of the city finances, correct?
Yes.
All right. Did you find any evidence of fraud?
No, sir.
Thank you. Do you find any evidence of misuse of funds?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we have tight financial controls in place to make sure we're consistent with accounting standards?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, yeah. If I would have found any of that stuff, you would have heard about that on the first few slides, for sure.
I hope it two together for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, these next slides are just some accounting pronouncements, some boring accounting pronouncements, so I apologize in advance, but I do just want to let you guys know what's coming down from GASB, which is the oversight accounting body that we all report to. Number one is going to be GASB Statement 101. This is effective for your next fiscal year, so fiscal year 2025. The fiscal year we're in right now, they labeled it compensated absences. Really what this is doing is making all governments across the U.S. record their vacation and sick leave for their employees. For you all, you already do that. Most cities do. I think this was really geared toward healthcare entities, governmental healthcare entities that weren't doing that. But really, they just wanted to get everyone on a unified model. So this one will not have a material effect for the City of Fate, but just wanted to let you guys know this is going to be applicable, and we will have to start following this guidance come September 30th, 2025. The second is going to be GASB Statement 102, certain risk disclosures. So this is going to require us to add more footnotes to the financials on certain risks that the city is, that could be a risk to the city. I don't think this is going to have an impact at all. We already disclosed quite a bit in here. If you guys have read the reports, it's really long. Again, I think this was geared toward other types of not municipal, but governmental agencies. Kind of special purpose agencies that just provide one or two services that have significant risks. But for you guys, again, I don't think this is definitely not going to have a material impact on financials. It might just add additional disclosures to your report. But this is going to be applicable for this next fiscal year as well, so 9/30/2025. These next two are a couple years out, so this one's not going to be applicable until September 30th, 2026, but this is the financial reporting model. We don't know a lot about exactly what's coming down on this one. We just know that they're starting the process of changing how we report for governmental entities. If you have familiarized yourself with financials, there's fund accounting, and then you could take the funds and go to the front for the big government-wide statement of net position and balance sheet. They're starting to mess with that and change those. So GASB Statement 103 is going to be the first rollout of that. We think it's just going to affect the MD&A and things that I listed there on the right. Again, no impact to the actual financials or numbers, just kind of how we report that. But that's 2 years away. Okay, so we have a little bit of time to understand that one more. And then lastly is GASB Statement 104, which is capital assets. This is just going to require us to break out leased assets, SEBITA assets, and regular assets in their own footnotes. So right now it's all lumped into one. We'll just have to break those out into 3 separate footnotes and this is going to be for fiscal year 26, so a couple years away. Just making the act for longer, right? That's what they like to do. And then lastly, this isn't a GASB that's coming down, but this is just a friendly reminder for cybersecurity. It is one of the biggest risks that you all face, and I'm not saying this is I found something or nothing like that. This is just an FYI. The governor of Texas actually requires all federal employees to undergo security awareness training. That includes you guys. So just a plug for you all to get to do that training, and then just overall continue doing your cybersecurity risk assessments. We go to conferences all over for governmental accounting, and this is the #1 risk that they present to us, and #1 risk to look out for clients. And so just letting you all know that bit of information. And next, I have 2 more slides. This is the financial overview again. These are items that I think are important. If I was in y'all's shoes, this is the stuff that I would want to know. The first is going to be your general fund unassigned fund balance. So at 9/30/2024, your unassigned fund balance in your general fund was a little over $8.1 million. And what we do is we take that as a percentage of your budgeted fiscal year 25 expenditures, and you guys are right at 46.9%. GFOA, who we submit this to, recommends about 60 days, so you guys are well over that. So super healthy general fund. And then last slide is your TMRS pension funding status. So you can see there your net pension liability in that third column is $191,000 at the end of 9/30/24. This is off of a calendar year end. TMRS is on a calendar year end, so this is based on 12/31 pension liability measurement date. But you guys are about 97% funded, which is extremely healthy. It's up about 4% from last year. You guys are about 93. Typically anything over, depending on the size of the city, 70 or 80 is kind of the money spot. So you guys are well above that. So really healthy funding status. And now I can take any questions that you guys may have.
Yeah, Cody, Mark.
I don't necessarily have a question, just a statement that congratulations, Raju, that if 12 years in a row is very substantial, and that's a lot of moving parts, and you guys do a great job of that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Scott.
General question on the unassigned fund balance. I know we keep a 120-day reserve, and that's going to be obviously the majority of that. What are you seeing other cities do? What's kind of the standard out there that other folks are doing?
Yeah, I mean, most cities have their own policy. 120 days is very common. That's what I see, like the minimum that they have to require. So yeah, you guys are right in line with that. Now you guys have a lot more than 120 days. So it's kind of up to you guys what you do with the excess. But 120, that's pretty much exactly what most cities adopt is 120 days, which is right what you guys do. I don't really see anything different than that.
Thank you.
Alan?
Yeah.
Now, just to echo Councilman Harper about congratulations on another year of award-winning transparency that we have for our residents and how we use their money. Appreciate it.
Mr. Hatling?
Well, great news, we passed the audit. For anybody listening, I think you said there were no significant deficiencies. Can you give me an example, or give anybody who's listening an example of a non-significant deficiency?
So there's 3 tiers of accounting findings. You have a material weakness, which is the highest level of finding, right? That means you have a materially, finding that's material to your financials, and you have a significant deficiency, which is not as material, but right step below, and then you just have what we call a deficiency. Right. And so depending on what it is, it's going to be all based on the dollar amount of error that we find, right? So if it's material or not. So you asked what just a normal deficiency would be? Is that?
No, just for what would be considered a no significant deficiency, in case somebody's listening going,
yeah.
Want an example?
I mean, something that's super insignificant that, I would just report to Raju. Maybe if a bank rec was supposed to have 2 signatures for review and it only had 1.
Pretty benign.
Yeah, something that's very, not warrant enough to come to a meeting like this, but say, hey, you might want to get 2 signatures on that next time, or something like that. That would be a deficiency.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah, Lance?
Just a couple of quick things. First question is that fund balance, was that prior to the purchase of the, or was that just because we ordered the fire truck and we hadn't paid for it yet, or is that after the fact?
Yeah, we transferred the 1.1 million in before 9/30/24, so the fund balance is after.
Okay.
Yes.
So then 120 days is about
5.4.
Yeah, $5 million or so. So you're saying that then there was $3 million in excess in the fund balance?
Yes, yeah.
After we paid for the fire truck?
Correct.
So that meant that there was like $4 million in surplus?
Close to 8 point,
No.
Right.
Take out the
Sure.
reserve.
And that's not necessarily surplus, it's just fund balance. So it could be multiple years' worth of potential surpluses.
I thought we had addressed that prior to bring that down.
120?
Yes, except
Yeah.
we had a gangbusters building permit year that we didn't expect,
We talked about it.
and
but
sales
we-
tax.
Okay. Then the last thing I wanted to say is that we can't get a better financial audit report. I mean, this just goes and attests to the fact that our finance team is on top of everything. Everything is transparent, everything is done by the book, it's all done by policy. There is no sleight of hand or hiding of anything. This kind of an audit, I know of a lot of companies that love to have these kind of audits, and they don't get anything. I mean, there was no deficiencies that you noted that I saw.
No.
Yeah, so this is great news for the citizens. It's great news for the city that they could trust that our finances are being managed by a very professional team of people.
Well, sir, may I ask a question of him?
Yes.
Page 50, my favorite page in the whole audit, you know what I mean? So just a note for the public and everything. The governmental depreciation annualized, 3.385 million. So if we were a private sector corporation and not a governmental accounting, that would be charged against our bottom line as expense, correct?
Correct. Yes, and this one is to an extent, it gets rolled up into your government-wide, it just doesn't hit your fund.
Doesn't hit the fund, right?
Exactly.
Now, on
your enterprise fund.
on the enterprise fund, it is in there.
It is, yes.
And so we're, depreciation in the enterprise fund, 2.5 million a year, which we're accounting for, and we're actually transfer funds into capital replacement funds to cover those deficiencies. So we're running the proprietary side of the city, at least the water and sewer side, we're running that kind of like a business, you might say, with some sustainability. But on the government side, as we get our road network bigger, we own more parks, we own more fleet items. The bigger we get, the bigger that number is kind of that. So that essentially, we could talk about accumulated, you want to talk about accumulated depreciation?
Yeah, I mean, essentially that number, as the city grows, that number will likely grow as well. And then your accumulated depreciation, so you're on page.
I was on.
You go to the governmental one on page 49, your accumulated depreciation's almost $23 million on $130 million worth of assets, right? So
Most of that's the street network.
most of that's gonna be your infrastructure, yeah. So street,
So we have about, if we had to replace, let's say all those streets were dead, we'd have to spend 23 million to get those back up to par.
yeah.
And we are 38 million in debt before the DPS bond.
Yep.
Good stuff. Just wanted to kind of put everything in perspective.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that. One last question for you really quickly.
Okay, yeah.
Any implication, any statement on social media, any walking down the hallway saying, we're wrong, would you agree that the Cities of Faith financial team does a great job here, and we're financially, and we're passing on as clearly, convincingly?
Yes, you guys have a great team. We appreciate Raju. Not everyone loves to be audited and their work picked at by external people, right? And we ask a lot of questions. We have a full team that comes in and does a deep analysis of pretty much any number. And yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, thank you so much for your time tonight. I appreciate it. All right, next, please.
Next is Agenda Item 4, and we've received 2 requests to address the council. Both are from Rodney Brumlow, address 102 Jeremy Drive. Wants to speak on an item not on the agenda, talking about lack of transparency, and also wants to speak on consent agenda item 5E.
All right, welcome. And you would do both at the same time?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay. Are you okay? You get up? Got it? Okay. Name, address, please.
Rod Brumlow, 102 Jeremy Drive.
Thank you.
I guess the best word is perception. We had the 3 city representatives go to Austin for what I call dog and pony show, meet and greet or whatever. How do you pick the individuals to go? Two of you guys aren't even gonna be here next term. We've got 4 other council members that could have benefited from that. And, you know, just perception, I think is bad. And money could have been spent better by sending 4 of the other council members to take that place. The other deal is we've got a new economic development guy. Have yet to see anything on the agenda, what he's doing, what he's, you know, selling. Is he selling fate to retail? We're not really getting a lot of fire and vinegar in retail. You know, we've got a few things coming up, but, you know, another restaurant, you know, gonna stay open till 2 o'clock. Wow. You know, fate needs something in here. We can go out there and have something at night. We got Salt and Vine coming up. It's more, you know, depending on the atmosphere you like. Okay, you know, we'll see what it looks like. But we still don't have retail. We still don't have hardware store, clothing stores, none of that stuff here. What is our economic development guy doing that we're paying him for? We had one that sat around half the time, wasn't even here. Now we've got one, what's he doing? That's what I want to know.
Okay, thank you so much, appreciate it. All right, next, please.
Next is agenda item 5, consent agenda.
All right, any questions, comment on consent agenda? You can ask a question.
No, no question.
Right, Cody? Any questions or comment? All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion, we pass the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, please vote. I was gonna say all in favor, say aye. All right, motion passes 7-0. Next, please.
Next is agenda item 6A. This is an application for approval of a zoning change request from agricultural to general commercial to allow for a retail development. This will be case number ZR 24-013. First will be the staff summary, followed by applicant presentation, public hearing, and then ultimately consider action on ordinance number O 2025-009.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Ryan Wells, Director of Planning and Development Services here for the City of Fate. This is the first of 3 items before you tonight from our department. This is a project called Gulf Coast Retail. Project ID for this item is ZR 24013. So this is what we call a straight zoning request to request a change of the property's zoning from agriculture, which is its current zoning designation, to general commercial. This applicant wishes to construct a highway-serving commercial pad adjacent to a commercial node planned for in Lafayette Crossing. The general commercial zoning district supports a development type envisioned by the applicant, which is a purely highway-serving commercial use. Here's an image showing the location of the property. It is a triangular outlier piece that was not included in the Lafayette Crossing development, but abuts I-30. It's a single 3.26 acre lot, currently zoned agriculture and abutting Lafayette Crossing on the north and west side of the property, and the I-30 westbound frontage on the south and east of the property. The approval criteria for a zoning change are whether it's compatible with the zoning, the comprehensive plan, the character of the surrounding neighborhood, and any other factors required or allowed by Texas law. In the 2021 Forward Fate Comprehensive Plan, the land use designation for this property was designated as mixed-use center. Now, according to the comprehensive plan, general commercial is not one of the listed representative land uses. However, the general commercial zone supports many similar uses that are allowed for in the mixed-use zone. But importantly, the focus of this development is commercial, and so the general commercial zoning district only allows commercial and no residential uses for that property. So that's why, working in concert with the developer, we recommended them to pursue the general commercial rather than the mixed-use zoning district. There's also general commercial land zoning across the highway on the south side of I-30, as well as further east and west along the north side of 30. So there's some compatibility with other similar uses in the area. And then there are no other factors tied to Texas law or case law that were pertinent to this case. We sent out a public notice to all properties within 200 feet of the subject property, as well as publishing the notice in the local newspaper. That resulted in 2 notices being sent, and as of this morning, we received no written or verbal or any other feedback from anybody in the notice area or outside of the notice area. We ran a fiscal analysis based on some preliminary assumptions for the site, assuming that the 3.2 acre site could support a $3 million commercial development. Now, again, this was purely speculative, but based on other similar properties in similar locations, those were generally the values that were created through that development. In total, the project would could result in an annual project net revenue when considering road costs of about $17,500, excuse me. Over 40 years, that would be about $700,000 in gain. The revenue to cost ratio is about 2.6 to 1, meaning for every dollar that the city would spend serving that property, we would expect about $2.60 to come back to the city coffers. And there's no public roads tied to this project that are of city maintenance responsibility, so there's no private to public ratio to be calculated. Last month, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this zoning request, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Lance, any questions? Mark, Hatley? You good? Alan, Scott, Cody? All right. Thank you. Hey, is the applicant here?
The applicant is here. I'm not sure if they have a presentation. They may be just available to answer questions.
All right. Any question from council for the applicant? All right. Seeing none, we can.
Okay.
Are you okay with that? Yes, sir. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Okay. Public hearing is next. I'd call the public hearing to order at 6:51. Anyone who will speak for or against this, please come to the podium. Okay. Rod, you good? Okay. All right, seeing none, I close the public hearing at 6:52. Any questions, comments from council? If not, I'll take a motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance O 2025-009.
Second. Who seconded it?
I did.
Mark Hatley seconded it, Vicky. All right, any more discussion by council? All right, if not, please vote. Motion is passed 7-0. Next, please. Congratulations. Thank you.
Next is agenda item 6B. This is an application for a type 3 site plan for a new self-storage facility, case number SP 24-014. Staff summary, applicant presentation, public hearing, and then action on resolution number 2025-014.
All right. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just stand up for the whole night.
Yeah, I know. I like to rest my legs for a second. So this is a familiar project to you. This is a follow-up to a zoning approval that y'all facilitated last year. This is a type 3 site plan for the 5-star storage FATE project, project ID SP 24014. So this is a proposed self-storage facility totaling 155,000 square feet and change. It's a 3-story building. The reason that we're before you tonight with a site plan, where normally site plans are purely an administrative review, is because as part of the site plan submittal, the applicant is requesting 2 variances from the standard development regulations that would require the council to be the entity to approve this. So the 2 variance requests are, 1, a variance from the off-street vehicle parking schedule in FATE UDO Article 5, and 2, a variance from the windows and transparency standards from Article 5, non-residential development standards. So for the variance 1, they're requesting a reduction in the amount of required parking from 50 spaces, which would be required based on the total square footage of the facility, down to 22 spaces. The reason for this is that based on their market familiarity, there's a lack of demand for 50 spaces for a facility of this size. And they state that 22 spaces will meet the needs of the facility, as they don't expect more than 10 people at the facility at any one time. Variance number 2 is a request to waive the requirement of ground floor transparency by not requiring windows on the ground floor. For our normal non-residential development standards, we do require a certain amount of transparency on the ground floor. However, this is kind of a different case because this is a warehouse use, and transparency is not really compatible with the security needs of the facility. And generally, it would only show roll-up doors on the inside of the windows. And they are proposing an opaque enhanced facade as an alternative to kind of offset the lack of those windows. Here's a image of the location of the property. As you can see, it's on Industrial Drive on the south side of I-30. It's currently a single 3-acre lot zoned industrial, heavy industrial actually, which was approved by council on December 2nd of last year. The property abuts Painter Solutions to the north, Industrial Drive to the east, MedTech Construction to the south, and American Bobtail to the west. There's a bunch of approval criteria that I'm not actually going to read for you guys, but you can see. You're welcome. So in summary, our findings and analysis of the site plan are that since it's gone through 2 reviews, the staff have found that the site plan will comply with the Unified Development Ordinance and the design criteria and construction standards with a short list of conditions that are recommended at the end of this presentation. The civils for the project will be reviewed administratively, so that won't have to come back to City Council. There's a floodplain on the property, and that was addressed on the replat, which was filed with Rockwall County. So basically, there's an area of the property that's off limits from any development within that floodplain and the floodplain easement on the replat. There is a condition of approval that requires movement of a small structure outside of the floodplain so that there's no encroachment. There are no interlocal agreements or MUDs to consider in this case. The future land use plan for the property is Business and Innovation Center, which supports self-storage uses, and the specific use permit and zoning for the property were previously approved by council in December of last year. So there's already an indicated compatibility with this proposed use. And finally, the open space requirements for this non-residential use are being met with the proposed site plan. Type 3 site plans require public notice. So again, we sent out public notice to all properties within 200 feet as well as published in the newspaper. We sent out 7 mailed notices, and as of this morning, we received no feedback on the proposed site plan. For the fiscal analysis, this is the same analysis that we shared with you during the zoning and SUP back in December. So ultimately, this is a gain of over 40 years when considering the road costs of about $385,000. The revenue to cost ratio is 3.1 to 1, and with roads that's 1.9 to 1. So it's still a net positive even when taking in the proportionate share of road reconstruction over time. And finally, the private to public ratio for the property is 63.1 to 1, which is far above the 40 to 1 threshold that we previously adopted as a net fiscally productive project. Last month, the Planning and Zoning Commission made a recommendation of approval of the site plan with certain conditions, which are as follows. Number 1 is that a remote 5-inch stores knock locking cap FDC, not building mounted, shall be within 50 feet of a fire hydrant shall be required, as is required by our local fire code. This shall be on a revised site plan and submitted for review at the time that civil plans are submitted. All of these conditions will be satisfied with resubmittal of the site plan at the time the civil plans are submitted. Number 2 is that the fire lane turn radii shall be marked as 30 feet. Number 3 is that the dumpster enclosure needs to be moved further east to avoid encroachment of the floodplain easement, as I mentioned before. Number 4 is an update to the landscaping plan to remove glossy abelia, which is not one of the approved plants on our planting list. Number 5 is that they'll be required to add landscape island end caps in the parking area to maintain the landscaping requirements that we have for non-residential uses. And finally, number 6 states that approval of the site plan does not indicate approval of the grading plan or the storm, sewer, or water utility plans. These are going to be required as part of the civil plan, which still has yet to be reviewed and approved. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Go to any questions, Mark, Scott, Alan?
There's no plans for like van rental or anything like that with this facility?
No, that was asked at P&Z, and the applicant who is here did state that there's no plans for that. It's purely storage.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hatley?
This is still climate controlled, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Is that from the, above the first floor, or do we know if that includes the bottom floor?
I'll let the applicant answer that question, but they can, it is been sold as a climate controlled facility.
I remember they talked about it last time. Okay, thanks.
Lance? I have no questions, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. The applicant is here, you said? Yes, sir, please. Hey, welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Good evening,
So
council.
you have a present.
Brian Pkwy with Advantage Construction, and we are the design builder for the developer. Our office is in Richardson, Texas, and you had a question.
Mark, go ahead.
Yes.
I was just asking if the bottom floor is climate controlled, or is that?
The majority of the bottom floor is climate controlled.
Okay, thank you.
Lance, you have any questions? Alan, good? Scott, good? Good. Hey, we're good.
All right,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Public hearing is next. I'll open the public hearing at 6:59. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the specific proposal, please step forward. Don't rush. Okay, seeing none, I close the public hearing at 7:00 p.m. I'll take a motion, please.
I make a motion, we pass ordinance number R 2025-014.
I have a
I'll
motion.
second.
Who's second?
I'll second.
Can I just clarify, it's a resolution,
Is a
not an
resolution, right?
ordinance?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I make a motion, we pass a resolution R 2025-014.
Thank
And then Councilman,
I'll second again.
all right, you had second and a motion. Any more discussion from City Council? If not seen none, please vote. Motion passes 7-0. Next, please.
Next will be Agenda Item 6C. This is an application for approval of a zoning change request from agriculture to residential estate to allow for large lot, single-family development. Case ZR 25001. First is staff summary, then public hearing, and then consider action on ordinance number 2025-010.
Are you the last one of the night, Ryan?
Okay.
Welcome.
Mercifully, this is my last one here. So this is a rezone request initiated by city, by the way, for the property located at 644 Prince Lane. This is project ID ZR 25001. So this is a request for a rezone on property that's 7.611 acres in size. The property is owned by the city of Fate. The property currently has an existing single-family home with accessory structures. It's located north of the Wood Creek development and surrounded on all other sides by large lot single-family properties. The request is to change the property zoning from agriculture to residential estate in order to facilitate a future subdivision of the property into 1-acre single-family lots. The purpose of this whole project is to recoup a portion of the cost that the city has incurred to construct Miss May Drive extension from Prince Lane to 552, which was initiated and kind of triggered by the coming of the Worthy Fate High School project. Here's an image showing the location of the property. Again, you can see it's at the northern terminus of the existing Miss May Drive on the north side of Prince Lane. Here's a not-to-scale impression of basically where that Miss May Drive extension will go. And so the acquisition of this entire 7.6-acre piece of property was required because the construction of Miss May Drive will result in the removal of the single-family home on that property. So this is a zoning change, and so we look at those same 3 criteria that are from the Unified Development Ordinance. For criterion A, which is compatibility with the comprehensive plan, the future land use plan designation for the property is rural reserve. Residential estate is a representative zoning district, and it supports large lot single-family homes, which is a representative land use and compatible with surrounding uses. Again, all surrounding uses are residential, large lots to the north, east, and west. There are similarly sized 1-acre lots to the northeast of the property in the High Glen neighborhood. And Wood Creek to the south is representing the more suburban scale single-family homes of 6,000 to 7,000 square feet lots. And there are no criteria on item C, which is Texas and case law. So all 3 of the criteria are met per the staff's findings. We sent out a public notice to all properties within 200 feet, as well as published a notice of the zoning change in the newspaper. We sent out 17 mailed notices, and as of this morning, we received no written responses in either for or against the proposal. So we all kind of know that large lot single-family residential is not a particularly fiscally productive land use. However, and so looking at the fiscal analysis for this proposal, in the long term, because of the large amount of roadway in relation to the large single-family homes, we're looking at a negative $17,000 annual net revenue with the roads. The revenue to cost ratio with the roads is 0.27 to 1, and the private to public ratio is 9.9 to 1. So this is really below our typical productivity metric for development. However, in this case, we have to build the roadway, and we have to try to recoup some of the money because we had to buy the property in order to build the road. So if we were to not develop the property and just keep it as agriculture, that would result in even greater loss of roads, of revenue when taking into account the road construction costs. That's a $5,000 annual difference. The revenue to cost with roads would be 0.11 as compared to 0.27. Again, the number on the left is the return, and the private to public ratio kind of drops to 2.8 to 1. So again, we're hoping that with the sale of these single-family properties, we can recoup up to $1 million, which go right back into our roadway impact fee fund, which is what we're using to pay for the property in the first place. So the Planning and Zoning Commission evaluated this project last month and recommended approval to the City Council. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Lance, any questions?
Just a couple comments. One, the city initiated the purchase of this land, and it went into an amicable negotiation with the property owner?
Yes, sir.
And we paid market value?
Yes, sir.
Or above?
I wasn't involved with the actual negotiation.
It was
market
above.
value.
It was above market
Yes,
value.
yes.
And so I just wanted to make sure it was clarified that the city did not come in and take somebody's land.
And Lance, if I could too, there was 3 properties acquired for this road. All 3 were purchased under that circumstance.
And they were-
amicable above market.
And they're also in accordance with state law.
All-
Right? We follow the state law process.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely to the T, we follow state law process. Okay. Mark Allen? Alan, I'm sorry.
Real quick, because it's on one of our bigger thoroughways, or will be, why the residential and not a commercial aspect of some sort?
We were following the future land use plan.
Okay.
The future land use plan has 2 zoning districts that are compatible with the rural reserve land use classification.
Sure.
Those are agricultural and residential estate. So residential estate allows the more fiscally productive land use pattern of single-family homes on 1-acre lots.
And when will the subdivision take place?
Once the zoning were the zoning to be completed, then we would initiate a subdivision plat to be prepared, and that would actually have to come back to council because it would be a preliminary and final plat process.
And then who would be the broker for the final plats, the final lots?
I don't think we've determined that yet.
And how does, I just want to, could you explain a little bit how we go about selling the
Right, we
property
could
with
do,
a broker?
I don't know how we would actually do that. We'd have to consult our legal folks as far as if we could do a broker, but we can definitely do an auction. So we could do we can do an in-person auction or an online auction. Jennifer, you want to?
Yes, Mayor and Council, there are several processes the city could take to make sure that it is getting fair market value for those lots. And Michael mentioned one, which is an auction. And then there is a broker process in the state law that I'd have to look at again, because I think y'all may have to approve that process. But we'll look at it and bring that back to y'all.
Okay, so there is a process. We just need to figure out what that is so that the public can see and be aware of everything that we're doing.
Oh, definitely will be very transparent in the
All right,
process.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Cody? Oh, go ahead. He said no, go ahead.
Yeah. This is not, this doesn't have anything to do with the property that we had to go into eminent domain proceedings for, correct? This
No,
is
not at
totally
all.
separate.
This was an amicable,
Gotcha.
voluntary acquisition.
Gotcha. That's all I had.
Oh, real quick.
And then, sorry, just following up on Cody's question. We did pass a resolution allowing us to, but we did not have to use any eminent domain on the property you're referring to. Yep.
Mark?
Real quick, is the 1-acre lots, are those locked in? Do they have to be 1-acre lots, or can they make them smaller and make more
Sure,
units?
so the residential estate zoning district requires a 1-acre minimum lot size.
Okay.
The property is 7.6 acres, and we're looking at about a 1.5-acre dedication of right-of-way for the Miss May Drive extension. So that leaves just over 5 acres, so we can barely squeeze those 5 1-acre lots into the remainder of the property.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Mr. Hatley, we did talk about that, about maybe making it higher density, but we'd have to amend the comprehensive plan. And we didn't think, we would have to, right. We figured we wanted to follow our own comprehensive, even though it may be more fiscally sustainable to change the comp plan for that piece and go townhomes or even just Wood Creek or Williamsburg type homes. We thought we should follow our own comprehensive plan and therefore rural reserve.
And it prevents us from having to run sewer to those lots as well.
All right.
That's correct. That saves that capital cost.
Ryan, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Next is going to be a public hearing, right? Open the public hearing at 7:09 p.m. and went forward against the project. On this specific project, please step forward.
I have 2 people that have signed up to speak. First being Rodney Brumlow, address 102 Jeremy Drive.
All right, Rob Brumlow, 102 Jeremy Drive. You know, bright side of it, finally getting some lots that are worth having in this town, you know, 1 acre lots. But the problem is more residents. Until we get retail in here, Fate does not need any more residents. We're overgrown already. The only thing we ought to be talking about is where's retail coming from?
Okay, I need you, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next, please.
Next will be Khalid Musa, address 684 Prince Lane.
Sir, your name and address also, you had to, sir, since this is a zoning hearing,
Yes.
this has to be specifically on this application, only on this application, okay?
Excuse me?
It has, this testimony has to be on this application only.
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about that Prince Lane, the one he was just talking
Okay,
about.
perfect, thank you.
So I'm also, like he was saying, more residents, right?
It has to be on this specific item, so are you for or against this?
I'm against this.
Okay, good, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I'm against it. I live right next door, right? I have the 2 properties to the left of it, and we've been there for about 9 years. Since we moved here, we had Wood Creek right across from us built, right across Prince Lane. Since then, we've had nothing but water flow, damage, sewage, and back off coming towards us. Now we have these 5 houses that want to be built right next to us, which is also, I'm guessing, is going to cause more issues towards our property as well.
Okay.
Besides more issues, I think more residents, and to squeeze 5, just in order to, he's saying 40 years to repay, and just to recoup on the losses, I don't think that's fair for us to have those 5 houses on our property, pretty much connected to our property, and then us, going through more issues in the future.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, anybody else like to pick anybody else? Anybody else on it like to speak for or against? If not, thank you very much for speaking. I close the public hearing at 7:11. Ryan, do you want to address the drainage issue? So you talk about drainage and...
The drainage issue specifically?
Yeah, specifically.
Well, if the lots are graded, they're generally graded toward the street and the catchment system that's built within the street. On a 1 acre lot, the level of impervious surface is going to be very minimal.
Okay.
It's going to be, those lots will be served by septic, which will have to be designed by a registered sanitarian and in compliance with the TCEQ requirements. They'll have to go through annual maintenance, just like any other septic system. So, I guess that's all I can really say about it.
Can we just make sure as we go through the process, and we can just pay attention to that, that'd be great.
Of course, yeah. So, the preliminary plat will have a preliminary grading plan, which will have to meet all of city standards.
Okay.
And so you'll all see that with the review and hopeful approval of that preliminary plat when it comes before you.
Okay, perfect. And then the average house per home, obviously the population, we do use 3.2, 3.5. When you estimate population per house.
Oh, it's 3.17.
So if we're talking about 15 people.
Something like that. Yeah,
So, okay, we're going to add, so I'll make sure the public understands. So we're going to add 15 people, and then we get $1 million toward the acquisition of Miss May Vernon, right? That's correct? Okay, thank you.
Also to be clear, somebody else could come and do the same thing. They could subdivide the property and rezone.
No, I get it, yeah. No, I understand. So that zone is going to be available to anybody to purchase besides us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Any more questions? All right, thank you, Ryan, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll take a motion, please.
I make a motion, we pass ordinance number 2025-010.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments by council? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes 7-0. Next, please.
Next is agenda item 7, mayor, council, and city manager reports.
Alan, you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. I think we're supposed to get some gnarly weather in the next couple of days. Everybody be careful on that. And it's campaign season, and there are going to be a lot of signs put out, and just be aware of that. And make sure that you are up to date on who's running and what they're standing for, and make your vote count. Thank you.
Okay, Cody. I am mixing up today.
I just wanted to congratulate Raju for being the financial genius that he is. He always does such a great job.
Oh, my God.
He's having a victory lap. Also, I wanted to remind everybody to again, get to know all of the candidates. I've met with 3 so far. I've got meetings coming up next week. I encourage everybody to do the same. There's going to be meet and greets coming up. Get involved. Try to find out where one is that's close to you. And remember to be kind to everybody this election. Try, anyways. Elections can get kind of toxic, but there's no need for all that. So that's all I got.
Mark Harper.
Yep, I just wanted to say congratulations to Raju, now that he's not going to be able to get the door because his head's going to be so big. But also congratulations to Steve Gilbert and Clint Willoughby, both of you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do. And thanks for all the city staff and DPS. Thanks.
Scott.
Raju, congrats again on another successful audit. It feels like we're just beating a dead horse at this point because y'all have done so good with that stuff for so long. You set the bar high and you exceed it every year. Also, congratulations to Clint and Steve for your time and dedication that you've spent working for the city.
Mark Alley.
Yeah, I wanted to reiterate that. Thank you, Raju, for doing a good job. I wanted to thank Steve Gilbert and congratulate him, and Clint Willoughby. I want to thank all of the DPS crew for everything that they do to keep us safe every day. It's a lot of work, and sometimes when you don't hear things, you don't hear bad things. I mean, that's a good thing. It shows that we live in a very, very safe city. So I want to say thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
And Mr. Lance.
Again, Raju, another good job. You guys have your act together as a finance department, and every citizen should be proud of how well this finance department runs from the whole 9 yards. Congratulations to Steve and to Clint. And if we remember right, not too many years ago, Clint went through some very serious problems with COVID, and we almost lost him. It's good to see that he's made it here through 5 years. Thank you for city staff for all you do, and I appreciate all the hard work and dedication.
All right, thank city staff for you guys do. You guys do a great job as normal. Reju, I don't know about being cheap. I'm joking. You guys do a great job, and the audits are tough to pass. I don't think people realize that, and in the rumor on social media that states that we're not a run city. Let the audit speak for itself. And Mr. Gilbert and Clint, welcome. Congratulations, 5 years already. Seems like it just flies by. Congratulations, great job in DPS. As always, does a really great job for us, and I appreciate it. Michael.
Sir, just a few items. The Parks Board will meet tomorrow, Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here. And then the MDD is getting together. We're planning an MDD meeting for the 11th, and we're going to do it at the Hub at 6 p.m. So there's a boardroom at the Hub, and so we'll be the MDD will be in there, up there. And then the council meeting for the 13th. So we have a normal council meeting in March, but then the second council meeting is not on the typical day. It's on Thursday the 13th. So Thursday, March 13th. That's the second council meeting of the month. If y'all check your calendars, hopefully y'all can make that one. Spring break impacting some of the schedule and other things. And then Monday the 24th, we're back for the second and final strategic planning workshop. Oh, and then one more thing to reiterate Scott's. We've got that. You've got the handouts there at the dais. But starting the 10th, going through the 14th, we have the tire cleanup.
Hey, Michael, just quickly, you said March 13th, the second council meeting on a Thursday?
Yes.
For what?
Vicki, you want to?
That has been on the schedule since the.
No, I get it. No, I get it, but it's very odd. We have a meeting on Thursday.
It was scheduled that way because both school districts' spring breaks fall on the same week, and that was in case anyone had scheduling conflicts because of spring break.
All right, so we'll make sure.
So that's why we did that.
Yeah.
And that's why we're calling it to everyone's attention.
No, I agree. That nobody first and third, everybody's used to it. Michael,
Correct.
can you make sure that we get the word out? We'll clearly get the word out on that. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. Michael, you good?
Yes, St. Patrick's Day, the 17th is free.
But we do have one on the 24th as well, correct?
We have one on the 24th, right? So that's the strategic planning workshop number 2 on the 24th, Monday the 24th.
All right. Next, please.
Sorry. Next will be Agenda Item 8, Executive Session. In accordance with Texas Government Code, Section 551.001, the City Council will recess into executive session closed meeting to discuss the following. A, in accordance with Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, to discuss or deliberate regarding economic development negotiations. 1, Project Cactus.
Okay, Jennifer, just quickly again, before you hang up, so just to explain why we're going to executive session on this, so everybody understands.
So there are a couple of exceptions to the Open Meetings Act, one of which is economic development. And so we can go into executive session to talk about a commercial or financial information about a prospect that may be coming to the city of Fate.
All right, thank you so much. I'll take an executive session at 7:20. Thank you. Cody's ready to go home, so let's get this done. Next, please.
Yes, so no action will be taken on items discussed in executive session, so item 10, adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Please vote. Are you abstaining? All right, motion passes
It didn't pass yet.
7-0. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Somebody say hold on.
Oh,